I have a second grader that I have numerous times used TFA, and the grounding got him off of the wailing, whining, and then I could actually talk. We could talk, and it was like a switch. I mean, it's very interesting. It was like a switch. It quit, and I was like, oh, it works.
They come pretty upset to school, and they're crying, and some of them hysterically at the fact that they have an upset parent at home, and they're upset at school, and they can't get into the classroom because then their friends will see that they're upset. Just, you know, using TFA to get them to that point where they're like, and can actually go into the classroom and sit and learn and hear what's going on in the classroom.
One area that I really like to use TFA is on testing. At school for RTI we have to do a lot of 1-minute reading probes or phonics probes. And so if I get them grounded and calmed down before we start the timer, we always get better results.
My name is Elaine Meyer. I'm the principal at Kyle Elementary School. I was trained in TFA. It was a very revealing and informative weekend. We were lucky in that we were able to take a group of about 13 staff members. Each one of them have some amazing stories that they've shared of successes that they've experienced with our children.
I get a new group of kids every 30 minutes, and it's challenging for me as well as for them to make a smooth transition that quickly. You need to be very calm and centered. And with rapid transitions, I wasn't. And this helped me to calm down. So when they came in, I was more ready to teach. I have 2 students that are pretty severely dyslexic. And if you are dyslexic, everything is more challenging. They are on all the time. They are having to really concentrate and give it 110% constantly. And when I did it with those kids, I was watching their body language, and one little girl in particular, I saw her melt into her chair. And she's an emotional person, to where if she doesn't understand a concept, she freezes. And she cannot get past it, and sometimes the tears start because she gets so frustrated with what she feels is her inability to learn. This cleared her, and she was calm, and we had one of the best math lessons we've ever had.
Every single time that I led it, as I was watching the kids relax, I was like,
I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing at the end of the day. I felt myself.
Yeah, and it was such a good feeling, because knowing, like, some of them were just in a zone, you know, and I was just like, oh, this is great. The one kid that, you know, I mean, is always moving and asking questions, and she was grounded and she was focused, and I thought that was amazing. Like, she was the first person that I looked at to see what her reaction was. And she said, whenever we're rowdy, we should use this to calm ourselves down. And I was like, that is the answer. That's exactly right, you know.
I mean, that's our goal. We want the kids to be able to use this as a life skill,
right,
as, you know, not just in school, but outside of school as well.
The way to get other teachers to do this, you know, letting them know that, really, guys, it does not take much time.
Right.
You know, and I think that's one thing as a teacher that I've learned, is that there are just so many new things that people want us to do and implement in our classrooms that we're like filling up, and you're like, oh, I can't do any more. But I mean, we learned about this yesterday, and I mean, it was incredible today.
The difference that it made.
The day before,
I know.
after, so.
And seriously, I mean, 1 minute in the morning, 1 minute after lunch, and it was 1 minute after,
right,
or at the end of the day. I mean,
when I normally give a 3 to 5 minute heads down, lights off,
or a 5 to 10 minute lecture on their behavior.
Yes.
And that was, I mean, I wasn't having to do that today.
Right.
I saved so much time today.
Yeah.
So much time.
Everyone feels like most of my kids have ADHD, and I don't think that's possible for that many kids in one school to have ADHD. I think there are a lot of other issues that TFA can help with. So we won't pursue ADHD testing or labeling or medication.
As a teacher, we're getting more paper intensive, more do this, do that on top of teaching. We are stressed. TFA, it is not an added responsibility, it is taking away. TFA is something that is so simple and so effective. Once you trust it and let yourself really try it, the simplicity is just, it's beautiful in that it's easy, you can do it anywhere, with anybody, and it works.
The original intention with our trauma first aid training was to reach, on the first level, all of the mental health and physical health professionals in our district. So we trained all of the school counselors, all of the social workers, all of the school nurses, many of the teachers, and quite a few administrators learning about basic TFA skills. At this point, we've had 2 years working with classroom teachers, bringing in our program, which we call Slow Down Time, right into the classrooms. The idea is to reach all of the adults, train all of the adults in our district, so that every adult in the district has the same vocabulary, the same understanding of trauma first aid, and really carrying the same intention to provide these stabilization skills to our students so they can focus on their learning and be more present throughout the day.
So I was starting to think that one of the things we needed to work with in our schools and train our school counselors to do was trauma first aid. Trauma first aid actually gives that space for the child's body to change. And as a result, they're no longer dealing with the body sensations, and that frees up their mind to learn. And I think that really helps us in our mission as an education system.
I had a young boy who was diagnosed with ADHD, and it was a really difficult case. And he bounced around the classroom day after day after day. And once we started doing this, it really calmed him down, got him focused. He would do it a lot on his own towards the middle of the year. And in fact, he led the TFA activities towards the end of the year. So that he started being a role model in my classroom for TFA. He was definitely much calmer by the end of the year, got a lot more focus onto his studies, and his parents were amazed at the results.
The children are going to go home with this problem-solving technique, and they're going to use it themselves. And as we're able to reach parents by teaching them how to use the technique themselves, then it hopefully will affect their younger siblings. It's just going to keep rolling out over time. It's already rolling out from the classroom to the teachers, to the counselors, to the principals, to the superintendent, who is now saying, I guess I better remember to feel my feet, to kids taking it home and teaching their younger siblings to do it. And I've seen cases of that with children where they'll take a book home and teach their younger sibling to read. I would expect them to also do this kind of technique with their younger upset siblings. And so it could roll out into a much calmer society.